All right. Like always, starting with who we are. Same group as last time, just the tried and true three of us. This is Mostrino once again. This is my voice.
And then I'm Kovac.
And I'm Katz.
And this is the basically the Castalog crew at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the gang.
yeah, the Castalog gang. So starting as always with the releases of the past week. We started with Crash and Burn by Kuro, which I know we mentioned a bit earlier, but I hadn't heard it back then. And I really like the vocals here. Personally, the drop isn't for me. I know a lot of people enjoy the drop in it, but I really do like the vocals. But yeah, the drop was not too much of a hit for me.
Yeah, the drop sort of, to me, feels a lot like the latest Bensley track, except this one I feel does it a lot better and sort of has more sounds that intertwine with each other. And then the second drop with the distorted guitar lead is amazing.
That second drop really caught me by surprise because we only heard the first bit and the Call of the Wild thing,
Yeah.
and I thought it was gonna be like a copy paste drop, and I was gonna be a bit disappointed if it was, but it isn't, and the track is amazing in my opinion. I really that type of DNB really clicks with me because I love All Night too.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I mean, I also I don't love All Night, but I do enjoy it. So I don't know. I guess I was kind of expecting I don't know some kind of different style of Nero. I don't know, but the the ambience there is really cool, which I know Kiro has been good at from day one with that
Mhm.
Amen or however you pronounce it. Ambience was solid.
yeah,
Mhm.
and to me it sounds like the I don't know if it's just me, but I noticed the track in the end kind of sounds like it's leading up to something.
Yeah,
Could be. Yeah, we could have another EP that might be a little better than Bad Habits this time.
yeah.
For sure.
I think now that we've heard that it was Jordan who left, that he was feeling a lot of writer's block, it really shows on that EP. A
That's
lot of
true.
a
Yeah,
lot of the ideas feel a lot very like half baked and unfinished.
true. I know he mentioned that he was much more looking forward to like kind of trance stuff, so I'm assuming that he's probably got many more ideas flowing over there than in the kind of Kiro style that we're used to.
Hmm.
So then following it, we got For a Minute, the new Justin O track, which upon re-listening to it, the like I mentioned, the vocals were much nicer than I had remembered. They're really neat, but as far as the drop goes, I feel like the sounds used are really cool, but the concept itself is kind of flat to me. Like I feel
Hmm.
like they're it just seems like pretty basic future bass with good sound design. I feel like he probably could have done a lot more with the sounds involved.
I
Yeah.
mean, this track comes from the same artist that made Don't Bring Me Down, which is surprising. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
kind of like a decent track, I'd say.
Yeah,
It's
like it's
okay.
not bad, but it's not. I just feel like there was a bit of missed potential, if that makes sense.
It's
it's
a
very
bit
much
boring.
it's Millennium esque future bass done properly, but it's also not that great in general of a genre.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really stand out in
Yeah.
like anything.
Yeah,
Hmm. I will say that the lyric video that it had is probably like one of my favorite music or lyric videos on the label. It's
I've
just so
not
well
seen that
done.
one.
It's very well done.
Justin O's videos are sick.
Yes.
Did any of the tracks this week have a visualizer?
uh,
Out there did.
and Speak Francais did too.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm surprised that Ellis didn't decide to put the video for the channel because he uploaded it on his own channel, but I
Yeah.
guess it
Well,
just gets the visualizer for the Monster Cat one.
he did the same thing for Don't Say You're Sorry.
Yeah, and Feel That Way had a lyric video as well.
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not too interesting. It's just like the cover art and then like the lyrics are at the bottom, but that's also a thing that exists.
Yeah.
So anything else for a minute?
Not really. That's just it.
No.
It's like okay production, really good vocal performance, and that's it.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of She's Got a Killer. If She's Got a Killer was Instinct, it's like how it seems to me.
sort of, or it's like it's very much like Rear View Mirror, but with his more recent style.
Yeah, which I really do like. Rear view mirror. I can't talk.
That's such a hard thing to say though, for some reason.
Rear
Rear
view
view
mirror.
mirror.
Rear View Mirror. Yeah, I
Because
don't know.
I know that's one of like his less like fan favorite ones, but I actually find it to be a really fun track. That's one of my favorite of his actually.
It is.
Just like another thing before we move on, if you like go back to his last track before he released on Monster Cat, which was Jekyll and Hyde on Spinnin', which was like this really boring future bass thing. But the music video, like a lot of like the music video basically follows this one dude getting or I think it's just Justin being chased by two people in silver masks, and it just the entirety of it feels a lot like stylistically similar to what's now become the whole City of Oz storyline. The most interesting thing is that I almost feel like Jekyll and Hyde was going to be the start of like this whole thing, because at the video or in the music video it starts off with chapter 1 and then the title or like some title.
Yeah, and aside from because She's a Killer was his debut, right?
Yeah.
Because for you and me, like maybe I could see it, but Rearview Mirror really I don't think it's gonna end up on the album at all. It just doesn't feel like it fits stylistically. So yeah, I feel like perhaps he was thinking initially of making it like an independently released project with the tracks themselves being released on different labels, but ended up sticking with Monster Cat.
Yeah. Well, he was also considering, because I think he sent this on the Monster Cat thing, where he said, "Would you rather prefer a ton of short episodes or one long movie?" And everyone said like long movies. So it could be possible that what would be this album was originally planned to be like a series of EPs.
Could be. I guess moving on to Thursday's release, we have Out There by Muzz, which personally, even though I'm not super into it, and I don't like it as much as Start Again, I do have quite a bit of respect for this track because it's a style that he hasn't done in a while. And Nemesis was like really, really samey for Muzz in my opinion. So I'm really happy to see that this album isn't going to be entirely his tried and true style. Because even though this is drum and bass, like some of the sounds and like the overall feeling is a little less common for Muzz.
Even though the Out There didn't click with me first listen, I did respect it because it had like some very unique stuff for Muzz. And then today, actually, I came back to it, and I'm starting to really like the track.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to this week's releases more and more.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about this. It's breakaway style Muzz, and I like breakaway style Muzz more than its normal stuff, so I like this.
Oh yeah, I remember when Breakaway was originally going to be on whatever comp. I think it was like UV3 or whatever, and everyone was so upset about it. Oh, UV1?
Yeah.
Bruh, I got my thing all screwed
This
up.
this was when like I first started listening to the label, and I joined the Reddit, and everyone was complaining about it.
Yeah, and then they swapped it out for Spectrum last minute, and peace was restored or something.
Yeah. And then they did it again by accident like 3 years later.
Haha. Yeah. That's something they tend to do a bit. But
Yeah.
yes, I mean Spectrum EP is some of his most solid stuff, and I won't lie. Out There, I mean like excluding Nemesis, but Out There is pretty nice, and Start Again is kind of fire. So this could be his redemption from that very weak Cascade EP.
It very well could be. Start Again slaps. I
So
love
true.
that one.
I have
Gives me massive Pendulum vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like a theory that Cascade EP was just like a collection of like collabs that he just had sitting around and needed to release.
Probably. Although
'Cause-
even then, Shut It Down just feels weird for a collab because there's no way that it was Teddy Killers, right, who was doing it with
Yeah.
him. There's no way that Teddy Killers was the one who started on the drop and accidentally made it basically Junction 7. So I feel like it's kind of weird that that Muzz would make like that exact same drop just for I don't know what he was thinking. It's kind of wacky.
Well, he doesn't Shut It Down like literally sample
Yeah.
Junction 7, yeah.
which
Bruh.
it's not bad, but it's like, why listen to Shut It Down when you can just listen to Junction 7?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the vocals are kind of not that great, in my opinion. That's
I
really
didn't
it.
notice them being either good or bad. They just kind of exist for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, for the most recent release, Speak French. Haha.
Yeah.
Speak French.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I don't speak French, Jonas Aiden, but
Good track.
it is pretty nice. But for this one, my thoughts on it, the production is standard Ellis, which means really good. As far as the vocals go, I don't really care for them too much. They don't bring the track down for me that much, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the vocals, but the production definitely saves it because the production is, General Ellis, fantastic production.
Yeah.
And I'd say this is like the most controversial release we'd had like in a bit, because um the vocals are extremely divisive here, because you have people like Soar who despise them,
Hmm.
and you have people that just don't care about them, and the track itself is good. So yeah, in my opinion, the track is really, really good. It's like Ellis tier good, so
Yeah.
of course it's gonna be
Yeah.
fantastic. And um the vocals are growing on me. They do have some bits that they're kind of awkward. Like after the first drop, they're kind of like,
Yeah.
why would you do this? But the rest of the track, especially in the trap bit,
Oh yeah, I was
uh
not expecting a trap it,
Hmm.
even though he has done future bass before. I still didn't see it coming, so that was cool to hear.
yeah, and the vocals fit really nicely there. So
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think after first listen, the vocal, for the most part, have definitely grown on me, but still, like the bridge part of it, the trap
mhm.
at at points, Noep sounds shockingly like Tommy Wiseau, and that's not a good thing. Like you also like when he goes you're beautiful. It's like
Oh,
it's
that's
shockingly.
that's too. I didn't even notice that, but now I won't be able to unhear it.
Oh no,
Sorry,
bruh.
I am very sorry.
That's
Yep.
pretty cursed. I won't lie.
But yeah, that's definitely, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinion, the worst part of the track by far. Like the bridge
Hmm.
after the the first drop, the vocals are incredibly awkward there.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
yeah,
straight up, if this was an instrumental, it'd probably go up by like a solid 3 points.
you're
Like,
cutting out a little bit, by the way.
oh boy, I just got to move my mic closer.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Yeah, if the vocals were just cut out, this would probably go up by like a solid 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, I wish he'd just pull a Protostar and release the instrumental alongside with it, because
Yeah,
Protostar did it for when the vocals were good. So why can't people do it when the vocals are bad?
good question.
What if the track was only Ellis vocals? That would be good. No?
Bruh.
Yeah, this track in general just reminds me a lot of like the criticisms people had with Dwilly when he was
I was
still on the
about to
label.
say that, bro.
Yeah.
I was thinking of. Like, I was just waiting until we were done with this trick, but I
Oh.
completely agree, because I know Katz mentioned divisive tracks, and those I'd argue were among the two most divisive tracks of the year, hands down, and especially Candy, because hands down was divisive at first, and then by the end, most people enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Even if there were like some parts where some people still didn't like, but then Candy was a bit more, because especially because of like the lyrics are kind of bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the lyrics are very bruh.
They are very bruh.
So yeah, I think this reminds me of that a bit, except the only difference is that here it's the vocals themselves, like the lyrics aren't that bad or anything, and the production, I don't think anyone was in love with the production like here.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it was definitely a huge split over whether you got bothered by it or not, which is similar to what we're seeing here. Let's move on to our throwback list. So, the first
Hallelujah.
one we got is Titans, which is turning 5 years old. And
Yeah.
the one thing that, I mean, maybe not for this track specifically, because this track released, albeit like 3 months before I joined, but it's still released before I joined. But I guess the thing that's even crazier to me is the fact that 2015 tracks are turning 5 years old. Because I don't know if you guys get this feeling with years, but I still kind of have this feeling like 2016 is like the new and modern year. But as far as my thoughts on Titans, I really don't care for it. Honestly, that's really all I have to say. It's just it's definitely one of the weaker ones of that pretty solid era.
Yeah, like listening to it because I used to love it, but I haven't listened to it in like probably a year, and I just like re-listening to it today. It's just very generic, basic festival trap. Like
Same.
Yeah.
there's nothing much there.
Yeah, same.
That album too that it was on was, or like 023 was kind of the weakest album of 2015 in my opinion. It wasn't terrible, but
I thought
nothing memorable.
I thought
compared to the others.
023 was actually really solid. I won't lie.
Yeah, same.
It was solid, but like the others were better in my opinion. Like that whole year was really good.
True.
And then following it, which released on the same date 3 years prior, similar to some of the ones that we talked about last week. This was old when I joined, and it's old now, so it's always been old, so it doesn't really feel crazy that it's turning 8 years old. But Life by Televisor is turning 8 years old, which I didn't remember at all how it went, and we re-listened to it like half an hour ago, and I still can't really remember how it goes.
I can guarantee I probably listened to that song 5 times or less. I don't even know, like, other than probably standard Televisor music.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a track
standard
that
forgettable
exists.
Televisor tracks. Yeah, it's definitely a track that exists, but it's
Yeah.
pretty fun, I guess, if we
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
to say anything about
Really,
it.
the only reason why Life is even remotely memorable to me is because I had like the video of Pressure Cooker downloaded like 5 years ago, and Life was the next release at the end card. 'Cause that's literally the only thing I know it for is the song that released after Pressure Cooker. Turning 3 years old, which I want to say feels kind of crazy, but at the same time it really doesn't feel as crazy as I'd think, is Superhumans turning 3 years old, which I don't know. I mean, it feels like it should feel like a long time, but it really just doesn't, honestly. I mean, like, Superhuman still feels like a super recent release, but
Yeah, it kind of sounds like something that would release like on current Monster Cat Instinct.
True. I guess it's just the fact that Slander hasn't been around for a minute, and
Oh yeah.
Superhuman was before the split. The main thing that I just associate Superhuman with is UV2 and everyone hating all the future bass on that album.
Yeah.
But personally, I think the vocals are really nice, and even though I didn't like the drop at first, at this point, I've heard it enough that it doesn't feel weird to me, so I actually don't mind the track, to be honest.
I never really cared about it. Like, never. It never caught my attention at all. It's
Like-
a track that exists.
Yeah, it's really forgettable other than like the really obnoxious toms in it or Eric Leva's vocals, who despite having like only 2 vocal performances, those 2 are on the label. Those 2 are like some of the best on the label in my opinion.
What was the other one? I forgot.
Waiting.
Uncredited on Waiting by Vicetone.
Oh yeah. I just hear those vocals all the time because everyone puts them in their mixes for like the submissions. Everyone puts the Superhuman vocals for some reason. Alrighty. Then next up, we have turning a year old already, kind of wacky, is Let's Talk by Rogue, which I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I really don't care for it at all. It sounds really messy and kind of not cohesive. So it's just one that I never really come back to.
For like even like with like, even though it is future based, it doesn't really fit in with any of his other future based songs. I feel like it was more.
Because yeah,
I
like
don't
with his
know,
future bass, I'm
private.
thinking of like Badlands or Fortress or even like Oceans and stuff. And Let's Talk is just way out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's not something I would like just pull up and listen because I was bored. It's there and I don't dislike it, but it's nothing that piques my interest. But when it first came out, I did not like it.
I still don't really like it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the track. I think on the comp, I think it was Volume 4, Instinct. I put
Yeah.
it like at 37 or something.
I put it at 40, bro.
Bruh.
Oh, I put it. Time for me to. I think I'm the only one in the call who like genuinely really enjoys this track. Like I like how very like disjointed and messy that it is. Although it could use like a better mastering job.
See,
But
I like the fact that we both recognize that it's disjointed and messy. The only difference is that you like that and I don't.
yeah,
But it's not like there's a question about it.
yeah, because I like pretentious experimental music, and that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Yeah, like I don't know. I like how sort of because it very much adds like a very like strong like energy to it. Like it's very much upbeat, even compared to like other Rogue feature bass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which, I mean, yeah, I guess if the beat pattern wasn't so wacky and it just had more cohesiveness to it, I probably would enjoy it quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Following it, we got another oldie, Ocean City by Eminence. And I think really the only weird thing to me that goes along with this track is the fact that Eminence hasn't released on the label in since their remix of Vice Tone. Like that's a pretty unfortunate way to go out if you ask me. Like that's
And other than that, their last release was like a year and a half before that. I think it was 0202, wasn't it?
yeah, and that one was pretty nice,
Um,
but what were
Yeah.
you gonna
Which
say?
actually I think will turn 3 years old next week.
Yeah.
Or the
Oh yeah, it probably will.
yeah, because it came out on I think it was July 5th
Yeah.
was when RL came out.
But I was just gonna say that like Eminence being gone doesn't seem that long in my opinion, just because I associate Eminence with a lot of Dylan's other work under anonymous alias that was also on the label.
Yeah, but that alias has also been gone for quite a minute as well.
That's true.
It
But
was
like,
never really here though.
yeah, it just appeared and then disappeared and then went to proximity.
Oh yeah, I heard that track, but I forgot how it sounds entirely. I'll have to yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah.
but
Fairly standard.
I guess the main thing that I just kind of wish for Eminence is I just kind of wish that they left on a higher note because really that Eminence remix is probably the worst track they could have left off with. They're one of the worst. So
Yeah.
it would have been it would have been nice if they dropped a solid banger like how I think we thought for a solid maybe year or so that Night Goes On was gonna be their last one, and then they brought the Hollow Mind EP or something. So like that, I personally really enjoy, but just like the Vice Tone remix, that was a pretty bad pack in general. So I guess they chose the right pack to put their remix on because anything sounds good compared to some of those other tracks. But even
Yeah.
then, it would have just been a bit nicer if they went out with a real bang on the label since they've been around for so long. They've been around since like 2011 or 2012.
The track, the track itself is like fairly bare bones, but I really like how modern the production sounds compared to a lot of releases at the time.
Yeah.
Which
It's one of those older songs. Like all the songs that I listen to are from 2014 and onward. And I have a few songs from before then, and that is one of the songs I have and I listen to like on my phone. I just listen to all the music that's on my phone. So and I like it. It's kind of just a really chill track that
Yeah.
it doesn't do much, but it's also not really meant to do anything, but I like it.
I will agree. It's a nice track. It's not anything that I'd ever listen to ever, but it's a nice track, especially compared to some of like the bro step of that time. That's just like
Yeah.
really dated and grating. Yeah, Ocean City has dated production, but it's really not that bad when you compare it to some of that other stuff. Following it, we have Drift Away, the world track, which I hadn't come back to in a while, but it's really nice. World D&B was great while it lasted. Maybe he'll do it again. We'll see. But
Hopefully.
this is another good one of that trilogy.
Drift Away is a contender for one of my favorite tracks on the label. It's so clean, together with By Design. both of those are incredible tracks in my opinion. I don't know, it just they don't really have much impact, but that's the whole point, and that's what makes them like they're chill and they're like relatively fun and complex. I don't know. It's not easy
Yeah.
to describe how fun and like not that energetic, but also kind of happy tracks. Um,
Yeah.
Drift Away and By the Sign are, and I
Mhm.
wish we got more um, World DNB, but World hasn't really been that active. So
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts
I
on
don't,
Oh,
everything.
that
Oh yeah,
song's so good. I
yeah.
forgot
That
that.
song is
That's amazing. Like the
yeah. That
prepared. Yeah, the
mhm.
prepared piano at the end is like one of my favorite like moments in all of Monster Cat's music.
Yeah, everything is fantastic. I forgot about that one too. I think that one's also on my top 100.
Dang.
I'm
So
just gonna
World DNB's been
interject, and I
amazing.
don't like everything, and I don't like by design. So I love, or no, I like by design. I don't like Drift Away. I feel that like Drift Away is it's a little too melancholy. I don't know if that's the right word, but it seems sad. But it seems like it's a sad song that's trying to be uplifting, and it just doesn't execute that well.
Hmm.
I don't know if you guys get that, but
Yeah, sort of.
and then everything's definitely a really good song. It's just not something I would come back to, but the production on it is great. It's
Yeah.
just not like it's really good, and the fact that I respect it as a really good song, I just don't like it.
I didn't find Drift Away to be too sad. I just found it to be more chill, like Katz was saying. I didn't feel it to be too happy and jumpy either, though. It just seems to be kind of laid back, if you ask me.
Yeah. I think sometimes I just give this song, as much as I enjoy it, a bit too much credit because it's like the only song on Rocket League Volume 1 that doesn't sound like really rushed to me.
Bro, weren't we talking about Bone Dry last week, though? And
Oh yeah, Bone Dry. But I mentioned this earlier or on the last podcast, but every time I think of Bone Dry, I just think of Before We Fade.
oh yeah, that's
So
true. All right.
Comp has one of my least favorite tracks on the label, which is the Slushy track.
oh yeah, that
Okay,
was
I
terrible.
bro.
hate that track so much.
This track list is bigger than I remembered. 18 tracks.
Yeah,
Dang.
18.
Yeah,
Oh,
It's a
it's massive.
such a weird number. Like it seems like they were trying to get 20 and then just didn't.
there's there's a lot
Yeah.
of tracks on here, similar to your Bone Dry moment, where it's one of those where I hear this track and I just think of another one. Like Skyforth, I just think of Dream State, and then Wake Up You're Dreaming,
Yeah.
I just think of like some of the other tracks on his EP, especially Who I Am.
Don't forget, Dream State was actually going to be on it, but they didn't want
Yeah.
synthwave on it.
Yeah, Synthwave bad. I forgot about that Outbreak was on here. I do really enjoy Outbreak. That's a good one. Here's another one. Call Me. Like whenever I think of Call Me, it's just tunnel vision, but not as good, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like all subtact. Yeah, I don't think I've ever said his name out loud. All of his songs are just really forgettable for me. Other than "Come With Me," like that's the only song
Come With
that
Me is
I.
really nice. And
Yeah,
It
he
is.
has this one track on 99 Lives. Oh yeah, Rapture. Yeah, that one's
That's
really
fun.
good. Which is nothing like the stuff he makes on the label, but it's a really nice track. And then, like we mentioned last week, Collisions, which was a really bruh moment for Drulu.
Yeah. There's like re-listening to Collision specifically. There's one factor of the song that I won't mention, but it completely ruins it for me and how distracting it is.
Moving on to our last throwback of the past week, only counting our weekday releases, we have Final Boss by Nitro Fun.
not.
Nice. Yeah, this one, I think you'd be lying to yourself if you said it wasn't an iconic Monster Cat track, because it's one of the most iconic that they've released. You know.
And even they know it's iconic because they put Nitrofun on that artwork for the album for 023. And around that time, they only did that for artists who had popular tracks on the album.
Yeah, I think that one blew up in views.
Yeah.
And that song was pretty long too. That was like 5.5 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 520. I think it's 520. I can check it.
I think the intro is a bit long. That's why the track is so.
It's basically like an extended mix, except it's not labeled an extended mix. Because if you do like
Yeah.
the radio edit and you cut out the intro and the outro, then it's probably like 4 or yeah, probably around 4.
Yeah.
Which is really common for electro tracks of that year to have that intro for mixing, and now they just do it separately because back then Spotify and streaming wasn't as common. You just buy the song, but now with like streaming, it's just a lot smoother to not have the intro.
Mm-hmm.
And now the only tracks that go above like 2 minutes are the infected mushroom ones.
Desert Star, Empty Sky. That
Yeah.
one that just fades out.
I remember
I hate songs that fade out. It
Same.
hurts
every
my soul.
every 80s song ever.
Yeah.
Kinda.
That's why what's the Night song, their first song? Different Story. That's one of the reasons I hate it, is because it fades out. And then what song we were ever just talking about?
The Desert Star, Empty Sky.
Empty Sky, that fades out. There's a few others around in the past 3 years, but they're not as bad.
What I was gonna mention is that I remember, at least for uploads, because if you're counting like interludes, then yeah. But I remember when like Be Free and Rainbow Road were like the shortest songs on the label because they were like just above 2 minutes 50, and now we get like a 2-minute track every week.
Yeah.
I think
Dilemma was short.
I think it was a song by like Run Funk. No, it was a song by Televisor, I think. It was like 2:35, and it was the shortest song for the longest time.
That was
That was Throttle. That was French.
Oh yeah,
Kiss.
Throttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the shortest song on any of the comps until like 2017 or something like
I
that.
think it was
I gotta
I think it was until Fizzy Lifting Drink. Like it was that long.
That's really the only reason people even knew. Yeah, it's 2:18.
Yeah.
Which, yep. Fun fact: shortest song released on a compilation album. I remember that was the only reason why anyone even cared about French Kiss, was because it was the shortest. To be honest, I don't even remember how it goes, but yeah, I just remember, oh, so crazy, it's the shortest, which...
Got a really short one recently. A Dilemma.
Yeah,
that was
Dilemma's
like
2:32. Dang.
Some of these songs though, they don't even feel that short.
Yeah,
like before, like they did, but now they just don't.
If you didn't point that out to me, Keds, I would have never noticed. It feels like a 3-minute track to me. It does not feel like 2:30.
Really, it feels very short to me, like how the final drop just kind of cuts out.
I mean, that's
Golden's 2:36.
Oh, bruh.
Miss being.
Although I don't think anyone likes that song, so
Yeah. For being 2 minutes 36 seconds, it still feels like it overstayed its welcome. Not gonna lie.
I agree.
Yeah, Black and Blue is 2:37.
Bruh, what? How?
That's my reaction too. Yeah, they just make tracks so short now that they don't even feel short when they're like 2.5 minutes long.
there's interludes longer than that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
There probably are. I remember when you'd never get a track below 3 minutes. Like, you got 2 a year on the label that were below 3 minutes, and now you get like 2 a month. No, not even 2 a month. That's generous.
Or if
like
they
2 a
were
week.
below, is like 2:59 or 2:58.
Yeah.
I think it's just stigma of like, you know how like a lot of like prices for things will be like $2.99 instead of $3 because it's just a stigma of, oh, it's cheaper. I think that's also how we see it too. Like $2.59 is way shorter than 3 minutes when it's just 1 second shorter.
Yeah, I had the new Rootkit track on Bitbird, Too Close.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's amazing. It's the best thing Rootkit has done in a while. Rootkit on Bitbird has been nice so far. I mean, I really liked Only New. I didn't really care much for Promise Me, but Too Late is amazing.
Are we gonna count his remix of the Sun Holo track?
Oh yeah. That one's probably like the weakest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's
whole
still
remix
nice
package.
Rootkit D&B though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Isolate vibes.
Only New. I personally really like that track, and Promise Me and the remix are about the same tier for me. They're good, but I wouldn't really come back to them.
Oh, yo, new Crank Dat. There's new Craig
Fuck.
on Welcome Records, everyone's favorite artist.
Bruh.
Wait, hold on.
I'm
How did I
listening.
get How did I not get notified about this? Fuck.
This just sounds like the entirety of his last EP in Poppin', but again.
Have you guys heard the Jaycee track?
I have
Damn.
not.
Damn.
That Jam is probably like one of his best in a very long time. Like probably since Janguru. Or
Yeah.
Janguru.
Janguru is my favorite Jaycee track, and Damn is so good. It slaps so hard. Like,
yeah. I think my one complaint is that the rapper on it, Samad Savage, sounds like a dollar store Kendrick Lamar.
yeah, I thought of the same thing today when I was listening to it.
Very
But the rapping
strange.
is very. It is good.
Yeah.
Though the production is insane on
Mhm.
that track.
Listen to
Damn
Damn
is
by
up.
Kendrick Lamar. That's an album.
Not a very good one in my opinion, but it is an
Right.
album.
I'm not.
That bro was perfect.
The argument tonight is not going to be over Kendrick Lamar. Damn. Do you hear the Soup Andreas and Vorso collab?
No, that's a thing? Why?
Yes. Soup Andreas earlier this week released a album for free that's like a bunch of like basically Soup Andreas tracks that he had left on his computer after that he hadn't released after he moved to or after he started doing the Good Morning Club project, and one of them is a collab with Vorso.
Is it
And
good?
it bangs.
It bangs, yeah, it it bangs. And the Good
Yeah.
Morning Club album is also
Yeah,
solid.
Good Morning Club is really nice, like indie pop music.
Dusk is Rising. Have you heard that one?
Oh yeah, that
I
one's
have
like
not.
it's really weird, but it's definitely growing on me a lot.
Yeah, it's rising.
Bro.
Like it's a
Bro.
lot of what he like a lot of like the kind of mood that he tried to do with his Drulu Only Be Me remix, but I think
Wait, I did hear that one.
yeah.
And I mean, I only listened to it once. It was nice. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was nice.
Have you guys listened to the Better Off Alone Grant cover
I
from
actually
his set?
haven't yet.
I haven't heard any of the tracks, but the one I'm most excited for is the Ramses B version, or Rameses B, however you pronounce it, of Children. Because Children is a phenomenal track, and he's a
Mhm. It
phenomenal artist. So, I have really high expectations for it, so there is a chance that I could be disappointed.
I just wonder,
which would be
is that
kinda
going to
sad.
be D&B or is that going to be something else?
But what
I
was
kind of expect it to be D&B, but I wouldn't be surprised or I'd be somewhat surprised, but it wouldn't surprise me if he does it in another genre.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that, I could be disappointed by it, but I think that with such a beautiful melody and his fantastic production, it could, really knock it out of the park.
I'm kind of excited for the Sandstorm remix.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I
it's
don't think it's
probably
gonna
not
be
going to be
great,
that.
but I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
For it.
Who's
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that
same.
one
I
again?
think that's going to be tomorrow or Monday's release. I'm pretty sure.
Monday.
Who's
I
doing
think
that
my
one?
ex Pixel Terror.
Oh, bro, it's Pixel Terror, so it's gotta be. It's probably gonna be good then.
Like my expectations, both seriously and ironically, for this are so high that if it's not either a 10 or a 0, I'm gonna be disappointed at this point.
Yeah, same. I
Like
don't know. I don't even know what to expect from
Yeah.
that track.
Yeah, I have no idea what kind of, because I kind of don't want them to do like bro step or something like they usually do, but
Yeah.
I just thought for like a millisecond of like their millennia style, and I was
Oh, I would love to hear that.
oh, that'd actually be pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah, but
I just don't know what
considering
they'll do
Pixel
with
Terror,
it.
yeah,
Because
same.
it has the melody and it's such an iconic track
hmm
that it's
Yeah.
either going to be very similar or completely different, in my opinion.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think it's either gonna take only the melody or basically everything in just Pixel Terror production.
Yeah, there's still 3 more tracks that we don't know anything about. The first one is Rhythm is a Dancer, Pegboard Nerds, and Tia Simone.
Well,
yeah.
yeah. With,
I have a feeling that's going to be like Just Dance.
Probably.
I hope it's not. I really.
I
don't
hope it's
like
not, but I think
Just
it's going to
Dance.
be.
Yeah. Every time I think of Rhythm as a Dancer, there is a version of it done by like Breathe Carolina and Drop Gun. It's
Oh,
like
I
a
have not heard that then.
fairly solid future house track.
I'll have to take a listen to it because their other track by Breathe Carolina and Drop Gun, Atlantis. I don't know if you've heard it.
Oh yeah, that one's like
That's definitely
yeah, that's very good.
I expect it to be one of those where it's like, it's a lot like the original and like the verse, and just like Tia Simone's vocals, and then they just can throw a heavy drop over it. I feel like they're probably gonna pull something like that.
Yeah.
This is actually going to be their first song since early October, which is like 9 months,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah.
is their
I
longest
remember-
hiatus on the label.
I remember we were talking about how Paper Nerds haven't released anything since the EP.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're releasing. Perfect
Wow.
timing.
We
So
need
what
to
are
talk
the
about
other-
about these artists, so they're when we talk about them, they magically come back.
Case
Like
in point,
Throttle.
case in point, case in point, case in point, case in point, case in point.
That will
Memtrix,
not happen.
Memtrix,
Case in point.
Memtrix, Memtrix.
You see, the thing with
Roger.
Memtrix is that at least he's releasing off-label. Case in
Yes.
point
Yeah.
isn't releasing anything at all.
Didn't they just quit music?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They split up and quit music altogether.
It's so sad because
wow.
they have so many bangers. Honestly,
Half an Orange Around the World featuring Sax Squatch.
I'm really excited as someone who's played saxophone. I'm really excited for a song in a saxophone in a song. It just makes a song for
the
me.
Nigel Good track with the saxophone in it. That's
The only one I don't like that's a
Disappear is
saxophone
really
in it
good.
is Glide.
Well, I actually really like the sax in that, but
I agree.
What's
Yeah.
the other song? There's a few other songs that have saxophones in it.
Color has one in the end,
Color
I think.
has-
oh yeah,
Really like that.
in color it works really well.
And then I want to say there's one other.
Probably
I want to say it was
one
on
of
like
the older-
030 or UV1.
Was it? For some reason, I'm thinking the Rob Gasser.
That might have one, but it's probably not prominent in it.
Yeah, it's like for a 3-second clip.
Yeah, Open Hour had some jazzy stuff in it, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a sax in there.
There's probably one in the Kill Paris album.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know, Half an Orange, obviously they have some not that good tracks, and they have some good tracks, which, I don't know, I can see them taking this one either way. Around the World is a track that I enjoy, but luckily it's not one that I love, like Children, because if they did something like Children, I'd just be so sad. So I'm glad that they didn't pick like a phenomenal track to go off of, so that there's no harm done if it's not that good.
I mean, Around the
Yeah.
World isn't that bad, but it's also, or it's not. Yeah, it's not.
It's not,
bad,
like,
pretty
legendary,
iconic,
you know.
though. I mean, like Daft Punk is iconic. They're a well-known.
Yeah,
I-
but it's not like Around the World is their magnum opus or anything,
No,
No.
but I love Around the World personally, and I'm not very excited to listen to that track because I know I'm not probably gonna be
Around the
disappointed.
world, around
Yeah,
the
like
world.
Around the World, but with Half an
Yeah.
Orange lyrics.
Yeah, I
think
Imagine
of it
if they
as its
put their
own
lyrics
saxophone.
on there, bro.
yeah,
If they
I
put their
either,
lyrics
like-
on-
working on it. I don't think they will.
maybe. There's like
They-
one of two ways this could go. It's either going to be like very formulaically similar to Around the World, but just with like Half an Orange production and saxophone, or it's going to be like a Half an Orange indie pop song with Around the World sampling.
Bro, I can imagine. Okay, I really hope they don't do this, but you know how they always name drop cities in their songs? They could literally make it about Around the World, and every single verse they're like dropping a different city in every single line, like their other tracks.
Yeah, no, you're
I
gonna.
didn't notice
This is
that,
gonna
yeah.
actually happen now. God damn it!
Oh no.
That would. I
We could back
really
our
hope
backs
they don't do that.
tomorrow and go around the world.
Yeah, because I think they mentioned like San Francisco and San Diego in just the first verse alone of that track.
Can't
Yeah.
wait for them to name drop Daft Punk at least once.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they like to do that.
Coming on strong.
That's the one track that I haven't heard the original of. I've
Yeah,
heard the
same.
original for all the other ones, but I have no idea what that track is.
Yeah, I
the
listened to it, and
version.
that's the only one I didn't recognize. I thought I didn't know Better Off Alone or Rhythm as a Dancer, but I did recognize those when I listened to them. Coming Off Strong, I don't think I've ever heard before.
If it isn't hardcore or dubstep, I will be genuinely surprised.
Or Electro.
Yeah.
I could see, because I think that's a trance song, isn't it?
Yeah.
I could see him doing uplifting trance.
It'll
like,
probably.
Here.
I think it'll probably be hardcore, like a hardcore remix or Slate or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe
it would be
hard
interesting,
style, like his SOS and Time style. My goodness.
It'd be interesting to see. I know this won't happen, or maybe it will. Interesting to see him do it trance and then speed up to hardcore for a second drop, because like trance and hardcore is such like interconnected now. Like they're very similar but also very different. I don't know. Sometimes a lot of people see them as very similar genres.
Bro, imagine if he did like psytrance or something.
I would love to see that.
So wait, who's doing Better Off Alone again?
Grant.
Grant. Yeah, Grant.
Bro.
And that's the first song that he played on his set last week.
Are his vocals
and it's pretty
on
much the entire song. It's basically just like a future bass track.
Are his
and
vocals
it samples
on it?
the original. Yeah, he sings on it.
Hmm.
But he does sample the original song. I don't think for vocals, but just sounds. So I'm interested to see. Like, I was really surprised by the 9-year anniversary announcement. I was surprised that we were getting that.
Yeah, because you get
like
5 and 8 makes sense, and then we had Ditto for 3 years. Yeah, 9 is just a weird year.
Well, it'll be 3 back to back because we have 10 year.
10 is so huge. It's like, why even do 9? You know?
Yeah.
And I won't lie. This one's probably gonna end up being probably kind of forgettable a few years from now, unless there's like a really solid one. Because usually stuff where there's a specific theme, I don't know, they usually just end up being forgettable in the discog.
Yeah, especially for covers as well.
Oh yeah, like she don't like the lights and September and Playing with the Boys. Like September is kind of memorable, but the other ones, you know, you just never talk about.
Oh no,
September's good, but it's there. It's not on any comps. It's not spread around a lot.
Yeah. I forgot that Playing with the Boys exists, and now I have significantly less faith for the new one. Like that's probably
really
one of the.
That song.
Oh, I really do not like it at all. Like
Same.
They really could do something like that. I won't lie. Is there any other tracks that we haven't on that 9 year that we haven't mentioned yet?
That's the 6. That's it.
Oh, there's just 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say overall, really the only one that I'm really excited for that I think I might come back to after it is the Children with I think that one has the potential to be phenomenal, and it's not going to sound gimmicky because the rest of them are like fun tracks, so it's probably going to sound like gimmicky, especially with like Sandstorm or Better Off Alone, something like that. But with Children, I think he can really make it his own without it sounding forced or cheesy.
And before it's the Prometheus style, Uncaged.
But Prometheus style is top tier.
That'd be really weird if he ended up having a song Uncaged, because I'm pretty sure, like, my guesses are, because the only one that we know is Better Off Alone is Instinct. The rest we don't know, but I'm assuming Sandstorm's going to be Uncaged.
Yeah.
Rhythm is a Dancer is going to be Uncaged, and Coming On Strong is going to be Uncaged. But, I mean, Ramesa's B could do Uncaged with that, but I don't think.
But yeah.
Although I am assuming that it's going to be an even split. It could be 2 and 4.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be 3 and 3.
I can't wait for next year for them to do a 2000s cover album where they cover Crazy Frog Axel F.
Did you know that there's 4 artists on that remix that start with a G?
Yeah.
Getter, Graves, Glacier, Gravitz.
Oh yeah. That's an awful remix comp. One of the worst EPs on the label. Like even the Glacier one is bad for Glacier. It looks amazing compared to the other ones, but for Glacier standards, it's even one of his weakest.
It's so annoying to me. Like, that song is just, it doesn't fit. Like, I get I get that it follows his stylish, but no.
Yeah. And the sad thing is that there were actual, like, there is actually potential with Get On Up. Like, it's a good song, and there were good remixes that were made for the contest, but the ones that got picked were all just so horrible.
That's the
Yeah.
Monster Cat trend.
We're looking
Aside
at
from the Kotek remix, which was kind of fire.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, but that's just like, that's the only time they'll ever pick a good one.
Yeah, and yeah, or that they'll have Kotek on the label ever again. I don't know if you guys want to call it there. I need to go
We should probably call it.
subscribe to our OnlyFans